Okay, welcome back. We just had a little quick stream restart to make sure that the lag is gone, so please let us know if that is still an issue. I'm looking at the stream on my computer as it's coming to me, and it looks fine, so hopefully that is the case. But let us know if it starts to suck. So, another big news that's going on, just about to end actually, is the campaign to get the final 8th game, the player choice game, into EVO 2013. And it's really become a race between two games.
Oh, yeah. So, as it started for a long time, like I would say what day is it, the 9th? Like just a week ago, the top game was Melee, and that was at like 14,000, and the next closest game was at like 6,000. But in just the last couple of days, there have been a lot of donation drives. You probably can't see this very clearly right now, so I apologize because of the stream, especially if you have the quality down really low. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit here.
Well, in the meantime, just let people know what we're looking at here. This is actually a chart of the donations that have been given in the name of these games. Oh, that's probably a little bit easier for people to see there.
So I have it up to January 29th here, which was a little bit earlier today. And you can see just in 5 days what has happened here between...
Oh, zoom out? People want you to zoom out, actually.
Oh, it's too big now?
Yeah.
Pull back, okay.
All right, it's cool.
No problem.
We'll fix it. Don't worry. Don't worry, everybody. There you go.
There.
It's all good now.
Okay, so if you look here, all of a sudden, between the 24th and the 25th, this is when the Skullgirls had their donation drive. So a bunch of the voice actresses and all these other people came up there and actually, they just ran an all-day donation drive. Mm-hmm. So this jumped up 14,000 in one day. And then the Melee guys are like, oh, no, you don't. And even in the next day, it jumped up. Over the weekend here, you can see there's a gap between the 25th and the 28th. But over the weekend, Melee went up another 10,000 when Skullgirls just went up about 3,000 during that time. And so now, at this final day, they are neck and neck against each other.
Yeah, it ends, I think, on the 31st, right? That's the last day for it. Mm-hmm. It has to be before the February starts. That's the deadline.
Right.
So it's down to the wire right now. A couple more days, and I have no idea what's going to win.
Yeah.
At the start, we all guessed that it would be My Little Pony. But that, as everybody knows, didn't end up happening.
Right.
I've heard this a couple of different ways. The way that I've heard from people who are most credible is that the people who are making MLP didn't want to force themselves into a certain deadline in creating the game.
Right.
It's still in a pretty early build, and they all have real jobs, and it's not like they can work on it every single day for as long as they want. So they had to pull out of the normal of the actual tournament.
Right.
It will be at EVO, nevertheless, as one of the indie games that will be there.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try to put on an exhibition thing for it. So that sounded like that was basically the consolation for everyone donating to it. So we will give it a special show there. Exactly.
And then the people who were supporting that game, a lot of them went over to support a couple of other games. In particular, I think it was Melee, right, that they were supporting.
Oh, no,
it was Skullgirls.
Skullgirls.
Excuse me, it was Skullgirls that they were trying to support, and that was, I think, a big part of the early support for Skullgirls.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Trihex, one of the speedrunners out there who was known for doing like Yoshi's Island 2 and such, he apparently ran a donation drive for Melee.
Okay.
And so that money has not been added yet, so I'll be interested in see how that goes.
Okay,
but,
all right.
I want to point out one game.
Okay.
I want to point out Super Turbo.
Okay.
I'm so happy for Super Turbo here because... one of the things that I said that was really frustrating to me was that when the numbers were public, people are going to see, you know what, we're losing, I'm not going to donate anymore.
Right.
I'm looking at you like Melty Blood and CVS2.
Oh, yeah, you mean the one guy who donated $40 to Melty Blood on the first day, and it hasn't changed since?
And look at CVS2. CVS2 has literally been 131 forever. I mean, it's been 130 forever. And Third Strike didn't go up at all.
Yeah.
Injustice never went up at all.
Yeah.
And it's sad to me to see that happen because even though you're not going to win, it's for a good cause, and it shows a sign of faith in your game and such. And Super Turbo, even before today, was rocking at 2,000, which was already fourth place, third if you don't count MLP.
Right.
But the mere fact that for some reason in the last day, $3,200 extra dollars got pumped into Super Turbo, more than doubling it and almost making it past MLP's original amount. I mean, I think that's fantastic. Go ST.
That blows my mind. Who would do that? I got tweets from people asking if I was involved in that. No, I wasn't. I don't know.
I had nothing to do with this. So.
I know, it's so weird. But, I mean, hey, I think that's awesome. I definitely respect whoever did that. But clearly the game is between Melee and Skullgirls. And it's a pretty high-stakes thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is. Think about it like this. It's not just to play a tournament. It's if you're a Melee player, it's potentially one last major hurrah. There's some question as to whether Apex will be held next year, and so to have it at Evo instead is a pretty big thing for that community. Yeah. It's a strong community. They've been around for a long time, and they want their game to have this opportunity in front of everybody.
Yeah, and
that's huge. What can you say about that? On the other hand, Skullgirls is a game that a lot of people like. I think it's a very well-made game. But it doesn't have as big of a community as Melee, obviously. What it has instead is a lot of people who want to show it to everybody and say, here's a game, it's a good game.
Right.
Try this game out. This is what it looks like when it's played well, it's fun.
And you brought up a really interesting point, is that if whichever game makes it into EVO, does that put the pressure on the other tournament organizers on the road to EVO to run those events as well, to give it seed points?
That's my guess. Neither of us knows how they're doing things exactly, but
right.
Every other game at EVO is at all of the tournaments that lead up to EVO, because you need those tournaments to get EVO seed points.
Right.
That's the whole point of Road to EVO. So I gotta think that there will also be seed points at NorCal Regionals and UFGT and CEO for whatever game wins that 8th spot, which means that that game is guaranteed to have entrance and tournament time for each of those tournaments. And if they're at those tournaments, hey, maybe people see those games and are interested in them and pick them up, and there's a whole revival of Melee,
exactly.
or there's a growth in the Skullgirl scene. It's a high stakes thing.
And you know what is funny to me? I almost kind of want Melee to win just so Jabali has to run Melee. Because he's been trolling them forever about, April Fool's last year, he was like, we're going to run Melee, haha, just kidding.
Yeah.
And he always dogs on them, so if he has to run Melee, suck it, Jabali. That'd be so awesome, dude.
I don't know, I'm trying to remain publicly neutral in this whole thing. I know you are too, so I don't think that I should say whether I've supported it or whether we've supported a game and which one.
Hey, dude, I just said I support it for a reason completely superfluous to anything. So.
I just want to point that out.
Yes,
that we're not trying to take public positions because we don't feel like that's our role really. It's a high stakes thing. It's going to be either Melee or Skullgirls, it looks like, barring some craziness.
Yeah.
When we first announced this, when we first talked about it, we brought up the possibility that corporations can donate too, and we wondered, well, maybe that means that PlayStation All-Stars is going to get good backing, or maybe that means that Injustice is going to get good backing. They both have pretty major publishers. We didn't expect that out of Melee or Skullgirls, but of those two, maybe of Dead or Alive 2, Dead or Alive 5 2, which is getting major support in IPL and that kind of thing. Maybe that would get a lot of money behind it. That really hasn't seemed to pan out.
No. Well, the corporations were also blocked.
Is that so?
Tom and Tony actually came out and said that corporations were not allowed to donate. That if they saw them donating them, that they would reject it pretty much.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
So they did not want it so that a company could just come in and just get their way in there.
Okay. So. I think that's really smart, actually. Trying to keep it community as possible. Yeah. The whole point of this thing is to see... is for the community to pick a game that the community wants to play or watch play.
Yes. Now, here's the interesting... I don't know if you're an avid eBayer or not.
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
A couple times a year,
maybe. Are you a professional eBayer? Do you know all the strategies and skills that it takes to win an eBay auction?
I do not.
Okay. Number one strategy, sniping.
Okay.
There is absolutely no reason not to snipe.
What is sniping?
So basically, sniping is you wait until there's 3 seconds left and then you donate whatever it is that you're planning to you bid whatever you plan to bid at that moment, because you have zero benefit doing it any other way. It's the only way you can do it. And the only time you wouldn't do that is if you could not be sitting at your computer. But with phones these days,
yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? People don't know what they're doing. And I'm just going on an eBay tirade now.
No, right? Cool. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, like, let's say they see something worth $50, right? Or they think, I am only willing to spend $50 on it, right? So they bid like $50 on it, and they're still losing. They're like, oh, dang it. Well, maybe I'll try 60, and they're still losing. I'm already at 60. Let me try 70. They're still losing, right? You've bid $100. Now you're paying $80 to win this prize because you bid early. If you sniped at the end, he would have bid $50 and said, look, I'm winning. Hey. And at the last second, you bid $100, 3 seconds left. Now you only pay $51 for it because it goes up by dollar increments, right? If you bid early, you have all these people who are going like, oh, man, maybe I'll try 10 more. Maybe I'll try 10 more. Maybe I'll try 10 more. And now you're paying $80. That is why you snipe in eBay.
Okay.
Right? This is a super effective strategy, and I'm wondering if there is somebody out there ready to snipe one of these games.
Yeah.
Because essentially, by seeing all the numbers like this, and when you know that it's much easier to snipe if you have all of the numbers there. And all of the numbers are there. So literally you could be like that Jeopardy contestant who bids this weird number just because it's $1 more than double the other guy, when you're in the lead and such. And so, I don't know. This could turn very interesting on the last day.
Yeah.
That someone is just going to be like, 20,000, bah, and there we go.
I mean, I don't like... Can you go back to the...
Yeah,
to the graph real fast? I don't think that we're going to see anybody who's a huge Guilty Gear fan come in and bid 30,000 or donate 30,000.
Yeah,
it's not like you're bidding
unlikely.
it, right? Because it's not exactly like eBay in that if you bid $100, but it only takes 51 to win, then you pay 51.
Right.
It's that other crazy kind that you see advertised on late night TV sometimes, where you have to spend whatever money you're actually bidding, and you're just giving that money.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing. So I don't expect to see that for the other games. As far as those final two, though, Super Smash Bros. Melee and Skullgirls, I think you could be right. I think we could see some craziness happen on the final day.
Because honestly, like, if you're a Melee fan, you would probably, or a Skullgirls fan, you'd probably want to wait till the last second to donate everything, just to not spur on the other group. There's this little kind of like gamesmanship to play here. So, which is, I'm not saying please do not do this. Like, if you want to donate the money now.
Right, of course.
But, let's face it, we're all fighting game players. Our whole lives are designed around breaking everything and trying to maximize our chances of winning.
Basically.
So we're going to do that, right? We're going to think about the strategy. So,
well, regardless, it's been a gigantic success in a way that I don't think anybody expected even remotely to happen.
Yeah.
For
this total
the total is 74,000. 384 cents that have been donated so far, and it'll be higher by the time it ends.
This was as of like 4 o'clock today, so it might even be more than this now.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's a ridiculous amount of money. I had no expectation that it would be like that. And the other great thing is that, in my opinion, even as somebody who would love to play Super Turbo at EVO again, or to see CVS 2 again, or Third Strike again. The other cool thing is that it's the games that are the ones winning are games that I hadn't really expected to do so. I just did not have any expectation that Skullgirls would make it as far as it is, even though I would love to see that game at EVO. I think that's a really cool thing for that scene. The anime scene gets drilled for being cheap or whatever, and it's just not happening right now. I mean, there's a huge amount of money in that, clearly, and it's not from the developer, it's not from the publisher, it's from the fans, it's from people playing the game.
Blood community. What is with this $40?
$40 is pretty gross.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. And the other cool thing about Skullgirls being up that high is not just that it's a good game, but that it's a community built game.
Yes.
It's one of these games, either that or Dive Kick were the ones that most represented that, that are community built. Well, I guess MLP is too, although, again, it took itself out. And that's awesome. If we could get a game at EVO that was a community built game, I think that sends a really cool lesson to people who develop games and publish games, that there is a big market for people who are fighting game fans and who
Yeah.
really know how to make fighting games, really know what they want to look for,
Mm-hmm.
not just these big companies making things like Street Fighter and Tekken, which are games that we like a lot, but that people who play fighting games bring a certain flavor to their fighting games, and that's cool to see.
The winds are definitely shifting, especially when we see a game like PlayStation All-Stars being worked on by Clockwork, Seth Edma, and Madge, and Omar, the guy who's in charge of it, is a huge Virtua Fighter fan. He loves fighting games his whole entire life, right? And then Cross Tekken. I mean, what Capcom's doing, right? They said, all right, you guys, the tournament scene has trouble with this game. We're going to try to fix it. We've also hired Hans. We've hired Combo Fiend. We're bringing them in. We understand that the community is important now.
Dogtanian in Europe, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So the winds are changing, you know what I mean? And so it would be really cool to see something like Skullgirls make it, because then that might send a message to people as well. This community is real. We're here. We're serious. The worst thing about the fighting game community is every time people hear about it, it's like some random thing like, oh, the stream chats are rude or whatever like that. And let's face it, our stream chats are no worse than half you go to a League of Legends chat, right? And I've had League of Legends players tell me that they're like worse than anything. So
they can be pretty bad sometimes.
But
kind of different thing though.
I have no opinion on it because I haven't actually seen
yeah,
it.
I mean sometimes they can be mean and stupid. Maybe not as crazy.
Right. Okay.
It's a different kind of thing. But
Okay,
anyway.
okay, fair enough. But, I mean, it's just like, I would like to have it so that people can see that the fighting game community is made out of a bunch of really smart, hard-working guys who are able to create, who are basically able to feed into their own community and generate the content for it. So.
Yeah. So, again, either one of those would be great with me. I like Skullgirls as a game. I know the people who made it well. I think it's awesome. Melee is a game that I put a ton of hours into when I was younger. Loved that game. When I was at Apex, watching it played in that top 8 was awesome. Seriously, it was really impressive.
Yeah. Fact, I have put more time into Melee in my life than probably a game like CVS2. Like, fact. I played the hell out of the game. I didn't play it the way everybody else does.
Yeah.
I played free-for-all time limit. But I played the hell out. I mean, if I bust out my Melee right now and showed you my stats, not only have I pumped in so many hours into that game, I divided it evenly between every character.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, so like every character was played almost exactly the same amount.
Oh, my God. Well, I can tell you that on the one that I played on back in my home growing up, basically, there were 4 characters that got played. It was Dr. Mario, which was me. It was Jigglypuff, which was my one brother. And then my other brother had a couple of characters that he went to. And we pretty much didn't change around that much. It's pretty much those characters.
Oh, man.
So, anyway. Either one of those games would be good to see. Again, if you haven't donated, or if you have, and you want to donate, you got to do it in the coming days. Because the deadline is February 1st. It has to happen before February 1st. It has to happen during the month of January. So you only got a couple days left. Make sure that happens.
Right. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and finish off with a couple of more topics. So.
Okay, welcome back to Tuesday. So, you were just talking to me about some interesting stuff that Justin Wong had to say about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and we want to kind of dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is they restreamed the bar fights matches yesterday, and if you guys got a chance to see it, you probably saw that Justin Wong has gotten a lot better at the Storm Infinite. And he's actually told me, he says he believes Ultimate Marvel 3 is just going to basically turn to a game of nothing but infinites. He's even just told me, he just said, Felicia is going to be a good character, because I was asking him, like, can you help me come up with a Felicia team, right? And he said, like, basically you have to put Felicia on point and then have a character with an infinite second, because Felicia's so good at corner carry that you could always get the infinite going. You don't have to worry about mid-screen infinites, right? So if you can just corner carry them and go into an infinite. So he was saying Felicia Doom is going to be a great combination because everything she does is going to lead to a Doom infinite. And so he really believes that the game is going down the path of the infinite. And I don't know. Just from what I've seen, it's hard for me to argue with it right now. I'm wondering if that's going to happen to the game.
Well, I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I disagree with Justin on this. I do agree if you have a character like Storm that doesn't have high damage output. But I think where the game is really headed is toward guaranteed damage output. If you can do that, that's always better than taking the risk on the TAC, because then you have to guess the side, etc.
Right.
If you have Spencer on point, if you have somebody like Nova with Strange in the back, if you have I don't know, if you have Doom on point or whatever for some reason, if you have Hagar on point, there are lots. If you have Zero, if you have Virgil, there's lots of characters that will just kill.
Right.
And it's not just on point. It's, can you DHC to the second character? Can you DHC to Virgil swords and then just do a sword loop and get the guaranteed kill? That is definitely preferable. It spends meter. I understand you don't have always meter. Sometimes you're not going to have it. Sometimes you're going to need that. The ability to TAC and do an infinite, or at least go for a reset or something like that. But I don't think that it's just going to devolve into infinites except for certain characters. In fact, I think that the infinites can potentially be a nice thing for the game, even though they're boring to watch and hard to do. It means that more characters have effective damage output than they would otherwise.
Fair, yeah. Like Storm, that was her biggest weakness.
That's exactly right. So Storm had a major problem with that. But if Storm can instead kill everybody with an infinite that's admittedly really dumb and I wish was taken out of the game, but it's there.
And you still have a third chance of stopping it.
Right, exactly. Then that character becomes much more effective. Yeah. And that's good. That if it broadens the tiers, there's some benefit to it. Yeah. Fine. I think that's fine, because but before that, it seemed to me that the game was going in the direction of not necessarily kill whenever you get the chance, but again, I think the name of the game is minimize randomness whenever you can. And so if you can kill immediately off any touch, that's what you do. And most teams that are really good, are built like that. Yeah. That's what you do. So that's what I think about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to say at the end of that is, come on, please patch this game, dude. Like, seriously.
It's pretty close to being a super awesome game.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I like it a lot. But
it's so weird because it's so close to being this awesome game, but as it is, it's just like this broken game. Like, you know what I mean?
It should stay broken. I don't want it to be unbroken. I just want it to be, let's not have infinites. Please tone down X Factor. Like, those two things.
Please tone down TACs, and stuff. So, yeah,
anyway.
I don't know. But, okay. But speaking of Justin, I just want to bring up this little thing. Not a lot of people have talked about this yet.
Yeah.
But let me switch over to it a little bit.
I hadn't actually heard about this until you told me just before we got started.
You guys probably can't read this on the stream, but this is from the Sega blog here. And they're talking about Justin Wong here, and they're basically challenging him to get good at Virtua Fighter 5. And in fact, you can see down here at the bottom, it says, Justin is a great 2D games player and occasionally 3D fighting games. He's just not played Virtua Fighter 5 in competitive format ever. We're giving Justin the keys, letting him set his training regimen, and we're inviting everyone along for the ride. So interestingly enough, this is kind of, again, what I was talking about a little bit, how like the companies are getting more involved in the community now.
Yeah.
They know about Justin Wong, and they said, you know what, Justin, we're challenging you to be good at our game. Play our game. Let's see if you can do this. And, LA Akira, who we've gotten up here to teach us Virtua Fighter 5 and show the game, he's going to train Justin. I've seen them tweet each other. He's gonna try to help Justin learn the game. I think Justin says he wants to go with Jackie as a character.
Man, LA Akira has put so much work into publicizing this game.
Right?
It's ridiculous. Like, he came here. He offered $50 to anybody who could beat him at Wednesday Night Fights. He always showed up to Wednesday Night Fights.
And he gave $50 to the highest placing person that he did not know.
Exactly, yeah. So and now he's doing this too. Like, man, that dude is a saint for this game.
Dude, that guy's...
It's crazy.
Dude, if you want a blueprint on how you can help promote your tournaments, you go talk to LA Akira.
Yeah, I mean, Lord knows he's doing the best he can.
Yeah. But I know...
Man, I hadn't heard about that before. It's interesting. I think you're right. It's cool that the companies are getting involved in the community in a way. But on the other hand, I'm not sure I entirely love how this is happening. I think it shows what they're banking on is that it's like the pro sports player effect. Like, guess who's wearing our shoes?
Right,
Michael Jordan's wearing our shoes. Victory. No, it's that kind of thing.
Right,
like,
right.
And I could kind of do without that.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand that it probably would bring in a lot of or could bring in a lot of interest. Hopefully it does. I hope it goes great for them.
Yeah, and they have that event that's coming up in April. Of course, it's being streamed by Level Up, so that's going to be really cool. I guess it's like called the Sega Cup or something like that. So that's probably where it's going to culminate to see how well Justin can do at that event. So I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. I just like the fact that it's even happening. That that people are aware of these players out there. I mean, that's why the 25th anniversary tournament last year was so successful, because it got community people to run the events and was very mindful of the community that was established there.
Sure.
So I think it's cool that we see Sega doing this, and they even threw that one event where they flew out Chibita and
yeah, that's right. Fudo was already there,
right.
but wasn't Itabashi Zangief there too, or did he not make it?
I think it was just Chibita and Fudo.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just really cool that they're getting aware of this, and obviously Tekken, we don't need to get into all the stuff that Filthy Rich has been doing for that, for their games and such. So I don't know, I just think it's a cool sign to see this kind of community interaction from these, because obviously Atlas has been helping with P4A and KOF with that one Atlas event and such, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's good signs.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, I mean there are definitely those positives out of it, and I really think you're right that those are really cool signs. So.
Someone typed in E.G. Michael Jordan.
Really? That's going to be a name in T-minus 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Okay, but that's about all the time that we have. Cross Counter is about to start very soon. Please go check that out. That's at crosscounter.tv, and there will be a link there to go to the latest episode. So check that out. I think Justin Wong is going to be on the episode today.
Speaking of.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, do check that out. But again, just one last time, please also check out UltraChenTV.com. We put a lot of work into making that happen. And please let us know what you think about it, what you want to see different, what you think that we should buff or nerf about it. And in the future, you can just go to ultrachentv.com/live to check out the stream.
Yeah, let us know if you want us to tweak roles or anything like that. So. But yep, so
all right.
You can watch live here. We got FTC links, and then you can see all the archives for all of our shows. For example, if I click on Level 3 Focus, you'll see everything from Season 1 and Season 2.
Yep, just about to upload the one on the left there.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot. We will see you next Monday.
Peace out.